Someone is asking, how do we join the YouTube stream? Please go back to your WhatsApp group. Yesterday, you will see the YouTube link was posted there. Another person suggested something earlier on, so let me quickly check it out. And so the person was saying something around if it's possible for the link for attendance or where you posted stuff no to be shared before the end of the class. No, ma'am. Like I said, we'll have to get to a point where you understand that if you really want something, you learn how to adjust to the structure of the training. Just be rest assured that we're not restructuring anything to favor anybody. The way the training is going is the way it's going to go. You will have to make your own adjustment because this is what you want. All right. Most times, the best things you want are not given to you. You take them. So we're not going to go stop the, what do people call it now? Share the link to when the class have not ended. The link is shared after the class has ended and will be deactivated 20 minutes after it is shared. Today, we're going to be having a quiz and all of that. So the details will be shared with us as we proceed. Okay. Please, if you're ready, give me a thumbs up. Okay, yeah. Esther, I've seen your message. Though the different platforms will be dropped there. Okay, so yeah, everyone said they are ready. Thank you. All right. So I'm clapping for you already. So let's get to work. I'm happy to see some of the names I saw yesterday. We had over 250 people on the call yesterday. So but I know I saw Margaret Atasi, I know Festus Yaye, I saw Festa Yaye, I saw Nimi Andrea Jack, couple of people, Vicky, and all of those. I saw, well, so most of the names I saw yesterday are all here today. So I'm happy that you're all yeah, Summer Queen, yeah. So we're all playing the consistency game. Okay. So let's get to work, guys. So yesterday we discussed as to what prompt is. We looked at how important it is for us to prompt properly. Yeah, Emmanuel Joe, thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Thank you. Please try and be consistent as well. Okay, so we're live on YouTube now. So in case the call throws you out and you feel you're not comfortable with Zoom, please, you can follow through on YouTube. So we're live on YouTube. So yeah, Ngozi, okay, that's nice. Thank you. So we looked at that. We discussed several things about the concept of prompt. We looked at what prompt engineering is. We talked about the fact that it's actually an art and science. We explained that. We moved further. We started by also looking at the various eras in that technology have experienced. We moved down to look at how people adapt to technology. We talked about the different stages, okay, and we all agree that all of us want to be in phase one and phase two, or stage one and stage two as much as possible. All right, we discussed all of that, and today we're going to proceed. We talked about this input and output relationship. So let me ask, who can remember what we said is the meaning of QCR? Please drop it in the chat box. QCR. When we were talking about the input-output relationship. QCR, what does it mean? Come on. I need our energy like yesterday. What does yeah, quality, clarity, and relevance. Thank you. Quality, clarity, and relevance. All right. Quality, clarity, and relevance. Yeah, thank you so much. So we spoke about that yesterday. We discussed a couple of stuff, and we also talked about context window. We talked about context window. We talked about tokens, and I gave us two reasons why tokens matter. Who can remember two reasons why tokens matter? Two reasons why tokens matter. Who can remember? There were two things. One of them starts with L, the other one starts with P. Amazing. Processing and limits. Processing and limits. Thank you. Processing and limits. Thank you. All right. Who can remember what we said is the meaning of LLM? What's the meaning of LLM? What's the meaning of LLM? Okay, thank you. Large language models. Okay, so now you see when I brag that you guys are very intelligent, you should know I'm not flattering you. Okay, so let's get to work now. Let's make more progress. So let's look at the anatomy of a prompt. 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 So there are about 6 of them, as you can see there. There are about 6 of them, as you can see there. Okay. About 6 of them, as you can see there. Number one is instruction. Number one is instruction. Please pay attention. The anatomy of a prompt. Number one is instruction. Number one is instruction. Anatomy of a prompt. Number one is instruction. So you know that prompts, there is no doubt that prompts can actually be simple sentences, all right? Prompts can actually be simple sentences, but effective prompts will often contain several key components. So there are several key components that an effective prompt must contain. So even if they aren't explicitly labeled, please use Subunya. Stop writing on the screen. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Right. So though we might not in the prompt, you will not be labeling it and say this one is instruction, this one is this. It is very important to understand these building blocks, because they're going to help us construct better requests. Please pay attention. Today's class is very important because from tomorrow, there are a couple of stuff we're going to be doing. All right. So I'm also going to tell us, for those of us that don't have certain accounts, you have to create them so that we'll be able to do some amazing stuff tomorrow. So number one is instruction. So in this case, how do I explain this? So in this case, you're looking at specific actions that you want the AI to perform. The specific action that you want the AI to perform. So I'm going to be also giving us examples. All right. And they are usually like verb of your prompt, what you want it to perform. That's instruction. So example can be summarize, translate, write, explain, generate, what again? Classify, rewrite, craft, draft, all those, they are actually your instruction. Okay, so that's why I said instruction talks about the specific action you want the AI to perform. Somebody should write that down so that other people can see that instruction talks about the specific action you want the AI to perform. The specific action you want the AI to perform. The specific action you want the AI to perform. The specific action you want the AI to perform. All right. So that's what we're going to, somehow, of course, that's what we're going to be referring to. Sorry, guys. Okay. So that's what we're going to be referring to the instruction. Okay, and I gave you examples, right? I said some examples can be translate, right? Translate, summarize is another example. Explain is another example. Generate is another example I've given so far. So if I've given us like 5, that's fine. I said explain is one example. Generate, write, translate, summarize. All those are examples. Thank you so much, Vicky. Yeah, so if you're on the chat box, you can see what Vicky has done. She's put like 5 together at once, so you can take note of that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Bong Thomas, as well. Thank you. Amazing, guys. Thank you. All right. So classify, rewrite, design, all those are examples, very good examples of instruction. Remember, we're looking at the anatomy. For those of you that you studied medicine or you have an eye, when you're talking about like anatomy, you're talking about like what makes up. So when they say the anatomy of the human body, I think they're talking about what makes up the human body, as it were. So that's what we're looking at. What makes up a prompt? That's what we mean by anatomy of a prompt. What makes up a prompt? Okay, what makes up a prompt? Thank you. Gloria Jaja just added some more, and I like that. She predict, evaluate, simplify. Exactly. So all those are instruction. Now let's move to number 2. Number 2 says context. Number 2 says context. Number 2 says context. Now, normally in Nigeria now, there is this thing when you say something, they say, oh, you're quoting me out of context. All right. The president will say something and people will come out and say, no, that's not the context in which the president said it. All right. But now you have an idea what context means. We're saying that this is what we're looking at. This is what it means. You're talking about the information the AI needs to understand the instruction properly. All right, the information that the AI requires to properly understand, the instruction. That's what context is. The information the AI requires to properly understand the instruction and perform the task effectively. So that this is, thank you so much, Emmanuel Joe. It's about information the AI needs to understand the instruction given by you. And of course, carry out the task effectively. You need to add that, Emmanuel Joe. You can edit it and in your chat and add that. Thank you, Nimi. Right? And perform the task effectively. And perform the task what? Effectively. And perform the task effectively. Right? So it could just be some background details. It could just be some background details that this is what it is. So listen carefully. There is a difference between, let's use one of the examples. There's a difference between generate a marketing strategy. So listen carefully. Generate a marketing strategy. The generate there is an instruction. All right, the generate there is an instruction. But you see, the marketing strategy, the context is so vague. As we proceed, you're going to see that is very, very, very vague. Very, 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 very vague. Okay, so it therefore means that there is something more we need to do. We provide more context. For example, when we are saying, oh, I run a real estate brand in the city of Port Harcourt, Rivers State, and blah, blah, blah. We provide the number of years we've been doing this. We talk about if we focus on premium clients or low-income earners and all that. What you're doing in that case is that you're providing context so that for whatever he wants to generate, you now have a context for what he wants to do. So context. Instruction number one. Number one is instruction. Number two is context. All right. Number one, instruction. Number two is context. Okay. So you provide context. You give it that this is what I want to talk about. That's why I told you yesterday that if you must be an effective prompt engineer, you must not be lazy. You must not get carried away with the excitement of, oh, let's just go and do it. AI is fast. No. You must be able to calm down and give in your very best, and always remind yourself that you're intelligent, that you're only fortunate to have some tools that can help you do these things faster. All right. And not that they are more intelligent than you or that you don't know anything at all, because you want to be able to allow these tools amplify your intelligence. So you provide context. You provide context. Number 3 is input. Number 3 there, we'll talk about input. Input data. Input data. So in this case, you're actually talking about the specific text or data or examples that the AI needs to, process according to the instruction. All right. The input data talks about, data, text, examples. That's why they say input data. Do you need to give it some data, some extra text, some certain things it can hold on to know that, oh, see, this is what you're talking about. This is what I need to do. So I don't need to go beyond this one. That's input data for you. That's input data for you. All right. So you provide and you give extra things that this is what I want to do. For example, imagine that we want to say summarize this article. All right. We want to say summarize this article. And that's all we wrote. So if we say summarize this article, the question is which article? It means that we have to provide a file, or we provide an article, we copy it and paste. That's a text. So that's an input data. It's a data that you want it to work on. It's an extra thing you want it to do. So we say summarize this news. And you have to now tell it the news, because you can't just go and say summarize this news. So where is the news? All right, so where is the news? So that is the interesting thing, that we can actually provide data so that we can be able to do stuff. Now, let me tell you, do you know why most of our industry sectors are still lagging behind with what is happening with AI? Because of data. Because if we want AI to be able to, predict, I know that our judiciary, a lot of people are losing confidence in our judiciary, but then it's also a problem. But let's leave that. Let's assume that everything is okay. We need to be able to have data, just good enough data, so that we can now be able to build upon it and say, okay, we can be able to make predictions. We can be able to make predictions. So if we want to be able, let's say there is a legal case, and they just give judgment, and you're able to get the certified truth copy of that judgment, and you want it to be able to explain to you or summarize for you, you must put in that judgment. That's input data. Now let's go to number 4, role or persona. Role or persona. Role or persona. Now, what persona means, most of you will know. When we say user persona, we're saying, can you copy this person? This is the person I'm looking at. This is what I want to do, all right? That the person must have these characteristics, okay? Now, the role of persona is where we can tell the AI to act as a particular thing, as a particular person, or take up a particular role. It is true that today, most persons are using this component of the prompt, but it is a very vital role. It's a very vital component, rather, that can help your prompt, be very easy. So in this case, it talks, the role and persona talks about, assigning a role to the AI. We assign a role to the AI, and so it will help us define the results, the output, the the tone, the style, the knowledge, anything, the perspective that you want. So if we tell you to act as a professional copywriter, when you say act as a professional copywriter, that is a role. All right, that is a role. Okay, so if you say act as a medical doctor, okay, or you say act as a business consultant, that's a role or persona. But as we proceed in our class, you're going to come across what we call role persona index. There is actually what we call the role persona index that we're going to look at it critically. Okay, so it is that part of that prompt that we actually give you, will define that identity. It will give you that particular person and say, okay, I'm assuming that I'm this person. So the perspective will not be generic. It will act as this particular person that I want to get. All right. Number 5 is what is known as examples. 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 As we proceed, we're going to learn what is called the few shot learning or few shot prompting. Example. So here you provide the prompt with some examples. You provide it with some examples, and then you can now ask it a question. You provide it with some examples, and then you ask it a question, or you now drop, what you want it to do. But you give it some examples. You give it some examples. Oh, this, and this happens. When this, and this happens, it's usually like this. When this, because now. I just hope we finish what we want to do today, so that before we proceed tomorrow, we can have a special class on AI technology. It's something we need to, so it will back up all these things we're saying. Because remember what you're doing AI technology and prompt engineering. And I told us that we're having 2 certificates, one on prompt engineering, the other one on AI and automation. And we're working so hard to ensure you can have your certificate as well on AI technology on its own. We're working so hard to make that happen. As at today, we got some green lights, and we're going to make that happen for you, right? So now you will understand why we're separating all these things, because there are opportunities out there, and you want to come out and say, see, I'm solid. Of course, we're going to do the business, how you're going to make money with this, because I told you yesterday that it's not going to generate picture, generate video. No. Those ones are minor things. Even children in secondary school now can do all of that. Why do you put yourself at that level? There must be something you, as an adult, is supposed to do. There must be somewhere else the money is. There must be somewhere else the money is. Why do you think a lot of companies outside here can train 30,000 people, 20,000 people for free? Because they know that's not even, it's not the 1,000 for that. That's not where the issue is. That there is a strategic way, intentionality to raise people who can actually say, see this AI thing, this is our time. And we're not going to take back seat and consume what everybody is eating and just step back and get comfortable with peanuts. That we have to position and begin to think of how to use AI to create real value. Have you thought about the fact that you can use AI to create something and someone pay you ₦1 million for just that thing? Pay you ₦2 million for just that thing. Is it possible? Yes. So it means that beyond the two, there are things you need to learn. All right. So examples will be few short examples. We say you create some examples. All right. You create some examples, and people begin to use that to do so. You convert the tone sentence. You just give it, okay, this happens when this happens, this happens when this happens, this happens when this happens, and all of that. So we ask it. Now the last one is output format or constraints. Output format or constraints. So what happens there, ladies and gentlemen, is that we can restrict or give a constraint as to what we want or what we don't want. Okay, so we can give it an explicit instruction on how the output should be structured or constrained. We can give it an explicit instruction on how the output should be structured. We can just give it specific instruction and say, please, this is how I want my output to be what? Structured. This is how I want my output to be structured. I don't want anything more than that. Don't give me anything more than this. Just do like this. So, for example, if we're writing a prompt, and you say, oh, sorry. So if we're writing a prompt and you say it should, write a response under 100 words, write under 100 words. So, in that case now, that is what we mean by constraints, because you're telling it, don't write more than 100 words. So imagine that you're filling up a form and you've been able to construct your prompt. You want it to be able to help you do a thing or two. And they say, oh, for this section of the form, don't put in more than 300 characters. What are you going to do? You have to be able to put a constraint if you're asking your ChatGPT or anything, and you say, oh, please don't give me not more than so number of words. Okay, so that is what we mean by output or constraints. Okay, so we can just give it some specific instructions and ask it to do this or ask it not to do that. All right. Just a minute, guys. So let's see. Okay. Okay. So, okay. So, let me see. Can someone? I don't. Nimi said I should explain for example. So, Nimi, I said for examples, right? You provide examples of the desired input or output pattern that you can give an example so that it can actually know. Let me give you an example now. Let's say we say, I want you to craft something, and I say that if someone says T, I say tires, then it should be, object should be car. Listen, if someone says T, I say tires, the object should be car. If someone says D, I say door, the object should be a house, right? I've given it an example, and I can ask it to generate for the remaining alphabets, right? Because that if someone calls an alphabet, and then I should call an object that is housed by something bigger or something like that. So I've provided an example. You can also give it an example as to how you want your output to be. Okay, so let's say, for example, you have a document. The document has introduction. The document has what other section now? Let's say it does have introduction. It does have the body of the text. It does have question and answer section. Then it has, okay, it has conclusion and then question and answer section. That's how you want the output to be. All right, that's how you want the output to be. So you can actually give it that as an example. You can even take a document and say, yeah, so produce it with respect to, so that's an example, all right? So let's see, who can help us? I'm not going to ask you to give me the 6. I want you to give me 4 of the components of the anatomy of a prompt you can remember. Let's go. I've removed it from the screen. So if you wrote it down as well, good luck. 4. I gave us 6. If you can give us the 6, that's fine. But give me at least 4. You must not give it to me in any particular order. Let's go, guys. All right. No, you didn't lose Sam Babalola. I'm just watching what everyone is doing in the chat box. So now hold on. I've seen what you guys have done, but now I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you this very important question. Amongst these six, amongst these six, whatever we talked about, if they wake you up from sleep, that you should come and explain just one. I don't care if you can explain more than one, so don't give me more than one. If they say come and explain just just one, which one will it be? Which one? If they wake you up from sleep tomorrow morning and say explain one, where like I want to know, which one will it be? Nice. Nice. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, some persons are also going for constraints. I'm super glad to see that. That's nice. Yeah, role. Etim Udumaya. Okay. All right, nice. Okay, yeah. Tino Tender said, same simple data is close to example. Help me understand the difference. Well, most of them will look like, this one is always close to this. But in input data, you're very specific, okay? You're very specific. So if I say summarize this article and upload an article, that's not an example, that's a data. But if I say summarize this article and I upload the article I want to summarize and I say summarize it and give me your output in this format and I put up another article, then that's example. That's example. Or for example, if you say generate, tell me more about um, South Africa, okay, and give it to me in form of an article like this, and you now upload an article, that's the example. But when you give it data to work with, like direct information to work with, give it a text to work with or to work on, that's actually input data. But when you say look at this and give me, that's an example. All right. No, DS Fred, no, no. DS Fred is saying, is there a defined order that the prompt component should follow or is subject to language creativity? Yes, it is subject. There is no rule that says instruction must come first before role follow. You're going to see all of that. That's why we're doing prompt engineering. Okay, all these questions, you're going to be the one to even answer it yourself, and you answer it very, very well. Trust me on that. Right? So you don't have to, there is no format. And again, all six components. Oh, thank you so much, DS Fred, for this question. Very intelligent question. All six components must not be present in every front or in every prompt. Okay, they must not be present. Please take note. I didn't say that earlier on, so but take note now. They must not all be present. All right. So it depends on the simplicity or complexity of what anyone is trying to achieve. Okay. Tony, Toye, if it is like conditional statement, yes, because you're giving it a condition, constraint. Another name we call constraint most times is negative prompting. Negative prompting is when you're prompting and you're not just telling it what to do. Now you're telling it what not to do. We call it negative prompting. Okay, we call it negative prompting. Okay, guys, let's get back to work. Let's get back to work. Oh, sorry, I stopped projecting. So we're going to look at the core principles of effective prompting. 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 Number one, clarity and specificity. Clarity and specificity. That's number one. Core principles of effective prompting. Core principles of effective prompting. Shall we explain? And if possible, we're going to look at an example. So I'm just in between whether we're just going to explain and spend tomorrow on the board. Let's see. We'll go as far as we can. So here, you want to be able to, thank you, Ajiboye, thank you. So you want to be able to say you're treating the AI like I mentioned this yesterday, you're treating the AI like a very loyal, capable, but extremely literal assistant. So what it means is spell out exactly what you need. Don't ever assume that the AI knows what you need. And that's why yesterday we all agreed that they are not mind readers. Don't ever assume. And one of the ways you show that assumption is because you're in a hurry. You just See, let me tell you, it will always give you a result. That's what most people don't know. The fact that there was an output does not mean that that is supposed to be the accurate result. There is a difference between correct and accurate. Even in data analytics, it is one of the core principles we use there. The fact that there is an output does not mean that it is an accurate result. So don't, because have a couple of people from outside Africa on the call, though. But for those of course, majority of us here grew up in African homes, all right? We grew up in African homes. And you know that time that your mom has finished eating, just stay with me. Your mom has finished eating, and then she calls you and say, come and carry this rubber. Let's say it's what she used in washing her hands. You now ask her, where should I keep it? She now looks at you and says, keep it on my head. Right? Now, despite the fact that she said, keep it on my head, you will not keep it on her head. Right? You will not keep it on her head. You will go straight to the kitchen or somewhere else. But what we're saying is, if you tell AI, keep it on my head, AI will keep it on your head. That's what we mean by extremely literal assistant. It will do as you want it to do. So it's not a mind reader. So you must be very clear. Very clear. Because it is loyal, and it's not just loyal, it is capable, it has capacity. But its loyalty leads it to obey you literally. If you say do like this, it will do like that. If you do like this, say do like that. That's what it is. So be very clear and be specific. You cannot say that, oh, you should generate a marketing strategy for a real estate company. You're not being clear. You're not being specific. That's a very, very vague prompt. That's a very, very vague prompt. And that is why you need to be direct and leave no room for guesswork. Be very direct and leave no room for guesswork. You have to try as possible and explain. Assume that it is foolish, that you want to explain everything possible. You want to say, okay, go like this, do like this other one, do like this, do like that. All right. Most of you guys here, you can relate. Let's say your girlfriend or your wife is not around and you're not so much of a great cook and you want to prepare a particular meal, right? And now you've called her. You say, please, you know I can't eat outside and I didn't remember to buy anything while coming home. Or I can't go out to buy anything. Or maybe restaurants because I can't just eat anywhere. You say, okay, please help me. I want to prepare that type of jollof rice or whatever you need to prepare. I want to prepare. It's okay, please. Tell me how to do it. You know how women are. So she will just assume, you don't cook normally. Maybe she makes the meal, or maybe once in a while just come and stay with her in the kitchen and steal meat and all of those things. But you probably don't cook, so she knows. And probably whenever you enter kitchen, you will always spoil something. Spoons will start missing. You might not even remember to put off the gas and all those things. She's recording all those things in her head. But now you're asking her to tell you how to cook. You're going to see her break down a whole lot of things, even things that you might feel is unnecessary. So she might even start by telling you, okay, number one, make sure that you don't misplace any spoon. What's the relationship between misplacing spoon and onion? This is what you're going to do, and then you do this one. Water, use this other one. She don't even want to, even the things that you know. He said, who don't go cast Chidera? David Five Face. Okay. So, guys, that's what we mean. Clarity and specificity. Clarity and specificity. Okay. So they are not mind readers. Okay. So they cannot infer your intentions. So they can't fill in gaps, based on implied meanings. They can't do all of that. So vagueness is actually an enemy of prompts. It's an enemy. So you must try as much as you can to use very precise action verbs. Okay, very precise action verbs. You have to try to avoid ambiguous uh, um, um, terms, languages, jargons. Okay, it gives whatever. So I think let's just hold on. Let me share my screen. Let's take an example. Then we'll come back and look at number two. Let's take an example. So I'm going to be using ChatGPT. So if you're using your smartphone, you can download ChatGPT if you don't have it, or you can go to your browser and say chat.openai.com, or you just say chatgpt.com. Any one of them will give you the same result. So if you're watching my screen right now, if you're looking at my screen right now, then we are game. Just a minute. Yeah. So so you have this, okay? This is ChatGPT, for example. All right. This ChatGPT, for example, and you want to be able to, look at it. So let's look at what we mean by being very clear. All right. So let me say, for example, let me say, tell me, I like this very example. Tell me about renewable. So I say, tell me about renewable energy. Okay. Tell me about renewable energy. And I hit enter. So now it's going to go ahead to tell me what it knows about renewable energy. Okay. It's going to go ahead to tell me what it knows about renewable energy. And you can see how I just how direct that was. Okay, tell me about renewable energy. That's all I said. Okay, as much as, so you see what I mean. We have a result. There's a result, but does this mean that this is what I might be looking out for? We are saying that somehow we don't have clarity, we don't have specific. Okay, we don't have clarity, we don't have specific. Sorry, a little bit of network issue, so this is not loading fast. I have to switch. Okay, so you can see it has given me a result, but then again we can proceed to try to do something more. We can decide to understand that a vague prompt will just give you a broad and generic overview. All right, it's just a generic overview of everything, because my prompt was very vague. I said, tell me about renewable energy. Okay, but if I go ahead and say, for example, I say, Explain the primary. Explain the primary advantages and disadvantages. Explain the primary advantage. Sorry. So let's explain the primary advantage, yeah, and disadvantage of let's say of what should we use now? So let's say of solar power. Oh, sorry. Um, of solar power. Of solar power compared to what should we compare it with now? Compared to, so instead of we have solar power, we have wind power, we have hydro power. Okay. So let's say compared to wind power, compared to wind power. Okay, sorry, this screen is down. Don't worry, it will come up very soon. Sorry, guys. Let me project again. Okay, so I said compared to wind power for let's say for commercial installations, for commercial installations in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. Okay, in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. Sorry. Please, can everyone see my screen? If you can, just let me know. If you can't, say no. So I think network is kind of terrible. Okay, so just hold up a bit. Yeah, I think network is not so good on that device. Network is not so good on that device. So just hold that. All right, I know we can see it, so just hold on a bit for me. Just hold on, yeah. Please just be patient a little bit. We'll be back up. I want to get this screen up so you can see what. Please hold on. The Zoom on that device is loading, so we're going to be back up. I think I might have to, let me try to. Please just be patient, guys. I think we're almost good. Okay, please confirm. Are we back up? Can you see my screen now? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate that. So look at that. So I said, so now I'm putting this, explain the primary advantage and disadvantage of solar panel compared to wind power, solar power rather, compared to wind power for commercial installations in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. So this is an example of being very clear and specific. All right. Sorry. This is an example of being very clear and specific. Very, very clear and specific. Okay. So now I'm very clear on the type of power I'm looking at. I'm also clear as to what I want to achieve. I want to know the advantage and disadvantage. And you know, I just want to. I just have to be very clear as to what I want to achieve at the end of the day. That's an example of being very, very. That's clarity and specificity. Okay, so I'm clear that I want it to be able to compare, solar power and wind power, as the case may be. All right, sorry. Okay, so I want it to be able to do that for me. So at the end of the day, um, you have a system that is working effectively for you. Okay, so clarity and specificity. Learn how to be very clear with respect to what you want. Learn how to be very, very clear so you can see my result. So very clear. I wanted the primary advantage. I want the primary disadvantage. Now you can see. So you can even see I have it in tabular form and all of that. Okay, so that's what we mean in that particular case. And of course, in this case, I'm using a free version of ChatGPT. So you're still getting some sort of good result from that, and you can play around with that. So that is clarity and specificity. Clarity and specificity. Now, having said that, let's progress to the next one. So let's go. David Fanface, clarity is the key. AI no be merely. Yeah, that's true. So let's go to number 2, providing sufficient context. Providing sufficient context. Providing sufficient context. That's number 2. Providing sufficient context. Okay. Providing sufficient context. Again, like I said, you must try to avoid vague prompts. When you say, for example, help me with my marketing email. What marketing email? What do you want to do? What I mean, right? So you must be very clear as to what you want to craft and be specific. Now, let's look at, one of the things that I want that I have to achieve in the first 7 days of your class is to make you actually understand how powerful and intelligent you are. Maybe my research tonight, I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but you understand that you're only using a very small percentage of your brain, and yet you can do a whole lot of things. If only you can. You can imagine what will happen if you can use 25% of your brain. You could see through walls. I kid you not. So your brain is powerful. You're very powerful as well. And so if we're lucky that in our time, we're able to have tools that based on data, not because they are more intelligent than you, for now at least, that they can do stuff. You must never lose your self-esteem because you're using a tool. And most people are doing that unconsciously. okay, subconsciously as well, because they just feel like, okay, like there's nothing for me to do. Let me just ask AI, and we feel it's funny, we feel it's interesting, but you're gradually losing your power, and you get to a point where you realize that you literally don't know anything anymore, and you will not be able to even spot out when it's not telling you. And that's why moving forward, of course, if you're in this class, please, if you've been the type that when you're typing, you tell your AI, please don't do that. Don't tell AI, please. It doesn't have emotion. It doesn't care. Okay, it doesn't care. Don't tell it, please. Don't tell it. I beg. Just don't tell it. Dumb. I've seen someone writing a prompt and saying, "Don't be offended." I mean, how will you be telling AI, "Don't be offended"? It does not have emotions. All right. It doesn't tell you what to do. It will do it. It's your assistant. Don't beg it. I've also seen people, most of us that have too much home training, I understand, some of them come back and say thank you because the answer just sweet them. They just say, hey, thank you. Like, thank you. I understand. I understand. If I don't know what to say to that, I'm a huge fan of gratitude, even if I can't tell an AI thank you though, but I'm a huge fan of gratitude. But you see, I don't catch Etty Dara Michael. She said, I normally say thank you. You see what I mean? Yeah. Thank you, Godwin. Thank you, Godwin Ocon. Thank you. All right. So this one say guilty as charged. Angela says stray bullet. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So Ngozi I even join greetings. Yeah. Gloria just say, I say please all the time. So you see what I mean? So it's not like you're wrong. As a matter of fact, the founder of OpenAI, Sam Altman, came out at the time and tell people not to be saying it because you're just flooding their database. You're just you're just consuming unnecessary data, server and all of that. There is no need. He doesn't have emotion. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's just a tool. It's just a machine. It's just like right now, most of you here cannot carry 2 bags of cement on your head. You cannot. Some of you here, all right? You can't carry 2 bags of cement on your head. But if I put 2 bags of cement in a wheelbarrow, you can carry it. That's a machine. That's technology to a level. Okay. And how many of you have ever said thank you to your wheelbarrow? How many of you? How many of you? How many of you have ever said thank you to your wheelbarrow? You see, how many of you have said thank you to your wheelbarrow? How many of you have said thank you to the freezer in your house? So they are all technology, but I want you to. I'm not trying to make you be like your heart to be stone. No, I want you to come to the reality of who you are and see these tools for who they really are or what it truly is. Okay, so let's go to number 2: providing. All right, providing sufficient context. So I said that don't make the AI guess. Okay, we've been saying this, so don't make it guess. All right. If information is relevant to the task, include it in the prompt. All right. Don't be too. I keep using the word. Don't be too lazy. Whatever information that is necessary in the prompt, put it there. Please give it context because I've told you now, and I know that you people have come to understand it, that as a prompt engineer, what makes you a good prompt engineer is not just in your prompt, it is in the quality, clarity, and relevance of your output as well. If your output is not giving us what we want, then it's a no-no. We have to be able to, you know, question that. So you have to try as much as you can to uh, make sure you're giving it everything that it needs. Okay, so if just imagine asking a colleague to summarize meeting notes. Okay, you just ask a colleague at work to summarize meeting notes, but you did not give them the notes or tell them what the meeting is about. So a colleague of yours was not in a meeting, or even if he or she was there, he did not take notes and all of it. He just said, please, oh, come, Tony, summarize this meeting note. All right. Or I just say, Lincoln, please summarize this meeting note. That's the problem. That's a problem. Because I will even ask you which meeting note. So it's the same thing. So you can't go to an AI and say, summarize this meeting note. You must be able to provide all the necessary information. And not just a meeting note. What do you know about that meeting? What meeting did you people hold? How is that meeting usually held? Provide all the information relevant to that task. So that when you get the result, see, there is a result you will get. And when someone sees the person knows that it takes a certain level of intelligence to bring out this type of result from an AI. Because you will see the specificity, you will see the clarity, you will see the context is covered. Oh, you know that, oh, AI don't even know that this company exists or that this thing, but everything that is in this response, you can capture it because of your prompt. All right? Because of your prompt. So you must do everything possible to include relevant background details. Put it there. Provide every test or data that is important. Where it is necessary, define the audience. Define the audience. Define the audience. The people that this, define it. If it's for kids, is this. If it is for adults, just define it. Just define it. So let me show you. Let me show you an example. Let me show you an example. So let me show you an example. So let me just tell it to say, summarize the key points. This is what I'm typing, guys. Summarize the key points. That's all I type. Look at it. Can you see? Can you see? Why? Because I have something that I've done with respect to solar and wind power. And because your charts are now synchronized, it is going to summarize the key points for. So meanwhile, I did it on a different chart. I did it on a different chart. I did not continue from this chart. Look at it here. I did not type under this one. I went and created a new chart. But I wanted it probably to summarize a different key point entirely, maybe from a meeting or a document. So you must always provide context. 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 So, for example, someone is going to say, all right, just imagine a situation where you want to say, is this a good investment strategy? Very vague prompt, very, very vague. But you can actually start, for example, by saying, oh, my financial goal is a long-term retirement savings. You're providing context now. My financial goal is long-term retirement savings, 20 years plus years. And let's say, and I have a high tolerance for risk and all those things. So you provide context, guys. Please, someone type in the chat box, provide context. Type it there, provide context. So that some stubborn people here will see it and yeah. Thank you. Provide context. I even like how Chris Nelson say, I must always provide context. Provide context. Provide context. Don't forget. Provide context. Provide context. Let's go to number 3. Remember, we're looking at the core principles of effective prompting. We're looking at the core principles of effective prompting. Core principles of effective prompting. See, Kwane Donald Barry, this people in this chat box. Please, guys, pardon me. Let me read something that Donald Barry posted in the chat box. He said, I even told AI to tell me the name of my community chief. Meanwhile, I don't even know his name. Well, you see, by the way, it's possible that AI can actually know the name of the community chief if the data is available. Why you don't know? That's true. If I ask you the name of some of your senators or some of your ministers, you don't know, but it's possible that AI will know because the data is available. He said, meanwhile, he doesn't even know. All right, let's go. Number 3, define the role or persona. All right, so role play guides the AI's persona, leading to more nuanced and appropriately styled responses. Okay, role play is very important. Like I said earlier on, I'm not surprised that it's been abused, but role play is very important. Very important. It's a very simple yet very incredibly powerful technique, right? So by telling the AI who it should be, you frame its response style. Okay, you frame its response style, you frame its response tone, you frame its knowledge base, okay, you frame its perspective and all of that. So assigning a role, will help the AI adopt specific communication pattern. So it can communicate in a particular way just because you define the role. All right. So that's what we mean by role play. So in role play, you use such things like act as a. Do you understand? You say act as a, or you say you are a, or you say imagine you are a. All those kind of. That's what we mean by this. Let me give you another example. I like. So let me give you another example, guys. Oh, by the way, are you learning something? Please, if you're learning something, just just tell me a yes, so I know that we're making progress. Oh, thank you. So let's see. Bude say active. I'll stop looking at this chat. This people are distracting me. Okay, so let me give you an example. I like to always use this example. So let's say explain blockchain technology. All right, explain blockchain technology. Please listen. Oh, let me even say this now. Please, this is outside the core principle. Let me say this. You see, within these 30 days that we're doing this training, please don't spend money anyhow. Like anything that is not important for you to buy, keep the money, please. So that when we get to a certain point, if you within these 30 days, I would like at least some of you to use your small money, even if it's $3, $4, and subscribe to a particular AI tool. It's on a different level, especially when we get to AI and automation. I would like 3, 4 persons to come together and say, okay, let's put this thing is $10. Can we put $2 together? We just subscribe and then we do like this. Or please don't waste too much. Within this 30, after these 30 days, you can be doing your usual dorime. But these 30 days, just save up small money, anything that you know is not just necessary. Just save it small. Just save it small. If you used to buy 2 shawarma, just buy one. If you used to buy 2,000 naira suya, buy 1,000. Don't worry, you're not being stingy. You're not being poor. You're not thinking negatively. Just, you know, okay. But please, I hope you're not offended about what I said. But You get what I'm saying? I just want you to, yeah, someone say 1 million naira. If you're buying 1 million naira data, at least buy 900K and just keep on so that you'll be able to see, okay, thank God we're doing AI technology tomorrow. AI is expensive. And then tomorrow I will tell you why some AI tools will come out and say, come and generate video for free, come and then all of a sudden it's no longer free. I will tell you why. And so you need to get to the point where if you use an AI tool for free and you learn it, you understand it, you need to get to the point where you might need to subscribe to access more things. Especially when you're going to be doing your project. So please. All right, so let's go. So I said explain blockchain technology, and I simply say go. So now I'm asking you to explain blockchain technology, right? And I say blockchain is a digital ledger that records transaction in a secure. So you can see it has given me results. And I'm happy now that some of you, you're growing so fast that you're no longer so much excited about just that the result came out. Do you know that as a prompt engineer, please take note of this, that you spend time to review your outputs. When an output comes out, you don't rush. You go through it and you're checking. Because, like I said, AI can give you both the things you need and the things you don't need. It can also give you something that is not accurate because it collected the data from somewhere. So you have to grow to the point where you're checking your output. You'll be able to know what you should go back and question it again. You'll be able to know what you should say, okay, I think this one. You'll be able to know that, okay, I'm not taking this one. So look at it. So this is what we mean. Now, I just gave it this one. So now let's see what will happen if I do role playing. Okay. If I do so, I'm going to ask it to act as a technology journalist. So act as a technology journalist. Explaining blockchain technology, explaining blockchain technology to a non technical audience. Let's say in under 100 words. Okay, or let's make it 120 words. Okay, and I say use an analogy or a relatable story to make it easier to understand. Sorry, let me correct some spellings right here. Story. Technology. Okay. So look at it. Act as a technology journalist. So this particular part that I'm highlighting now is what we mean by role playing. So I'm asking it, I'm telling it what you should do, right? Telling it what you should do. And I say explain blockchain technology to a non-technical audience. Context, not just anybody. Now, just imagine that I'm a tech person and I've been invited to come and talk to people on blockchain tech, just as an example. Or maybe I'm preparing an article to send to them. So I say, act as this, Explain blockchain to a non-technical audience. These people I'm going to don't know too much about tech. They are non-technical audience. And I've also put constraints that we talked about. So I don't want it in more than 120 words, guys. And I'm also asking it to use an analogy or a relatable story to make it easier to understand. Role playing. So defining roles. Defining roles. So look at it. It says, imagine a neighborhood notebook that everyone owns. Whenever someone lends money or sells an item, everyone writes the same transaction on their copy because thousands of people share and verify the notebook. No one can secretly erase or change a page without everyone noticing. That's essentially how blockchain works. It's a digital record shared across many computers instead of stored in one place. This makes it harder and all. That's it. You see, it avoided jargons. It avoided jargons and all of that just because we went straight up, guys. All right. Okay. Okay. he might talk first. He said, I know Sabi blockchain till I see this explanation. All right, guys. Thank you. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. We'll have just 27 minutes. So let's move on. Sorry. Okay. So let's get on with the fourth one. Let's get on with the fourth one. Sorry. Let's get on with the fourth one. Sorry, I'm trying to share my slide now. So the fourth one is specifying the output. Specifying the output. So now let me say this. Just getting the right information isn't always enough. You might need it presented in a particular way, like in a particular format. That's what we mean. You might need it presented in a particular format. You might need it presented in a particular format. So the fact that you just got a result isn't just enough. So we might just need that, oh, we want to. So that's why I say, don't leave the presentation to chance. Don't leave the output to chance. Define the structure, define the format, define the tone, define the style you need. Right? Define them. Don't just leave it to chance. Don't just leave it to chance. Don't just say, okay, don't just say, okay, I've typed in, let it give me result. No, no. You should be able to give it the structure. So specifying output, specifying output, specifying output. If you need it as a list, tell it that you want it as a list. If you want it as a table, tell it that you want it as a table. If you want it as a paragraph, if you want it as a code, if you want it like an email draft, just tell the AI explicitly what you want. It can generate these things in many structures. So why are you limiting it? It can generate it in so many structures. So why are you limiting it? Okay? So clearly state the desired structure that you want so that it can be able to give you that particular stuff. Let's take an example on that, guys. Let's take an example on that. Please pay attention. Let me give you an example. um, Imiato said, remember to jot down your 5 lessons for today. Oh." I said, make I remind you. Please, Fortune is reminding people uh, in the chat box. Grace and stuff say, okay, Grace, I've heard you. I've heard you. I know go verse again. Okay. So guys, let's look at paragraph. Should we do something on paragraph? Okay. So let's look at this example. So let me say, what are the main features of lion and okay, I wanted to say lion and tiger, but I want to use something more. Okay, what are the main features of, let's say, banks? Okay, okay, so let's say banks and churches. Okay, banks and churches. So you can see banks and churches are different institutions, but each has a distinct features and all of those and all that. So main feature of banks, main feature. So this is what you got. Okay, this is what you got. But we can now decide to make that a whole lot better. Okay, we can decide to make that a whole lot better if we say, permit me. So if we say compare compare bank Emmanuel Christopher, please don't interrupt my class with this thing now. This class is not recorded. It's going to be about 2 hours, 30 minutes class. Do you know how heavy it's going to be? That's why it's stream live on YouTube. You can always go back and watch it on YouTube. We're not pulling it down till after the training. You can go back and watch it on YouTube. It's just that simple. Unless if you don't, we're streaming on you. There are people that are not on this Zoom. They are watching on YouTube. Okay. So I say compare banks and churches. Compare banks and churches. Okay. And I'll give it a format. I will say present. Present the comparison. Present the comparison in a 2-column table. So you see, I'm now drafting the format for which I want the answer. I'm drafting the format for which I want the answer. Okay, so I now do something like this, just as an example. I say column one, audience type. All right, column one. So I want it, sorry. So I say audience type. Okay, and then uh So we can say audience type. For the audience type, let's say we want to talk about demography, okay, behavior. We can even talk about interest, okay, for the audience type. Then we can now say column two. Can now say column two. Just a second, guys. All right, guys. So sorry. So let's say for column two, I want column two to be for banks. Okay, and I want column three to be for churches. So let me make more additions. So instead of audience type, let me just use features. All right, features. So so for features, instead of all this, let me say audience type, um, audience type, um, leadership style, business status. Okay, business status. Let's say, yeah. We can even put size. Let's just put size. Let's say coverage, growth rate. Okay, so listen carefully. So these are the things I want to know with respect to comparing banks and churches, right? Oh, sorry. So I said present comparison in a two-column table. So should I change it to three-column? Yeah. So three-column table, since we have it. So column one would, so in one, the first column will talk about the features. Then the other two column, one column will be for banks, the other will be for churches. Then for each of the feature, we will now see. Do you get? That's what I want to get. And let's see. Let's see. Guys, look at it. Very simple. This is my output. This is what I want to get. This is what I want to get as my result. Right? This is what I want to get as my result. So that's why we say we should specify. We should be able to specify what you're looking out for, what you want to get as a result. Specify the output format. Specify the output format. Don't ever forget that. Specify the output format. Specify the output format. Specify the output format. So I want this in a table. You take your time, craft it. Okay, I want it like this because you've already imagined how you want your output to be. So you can be able to now tell it, okay, do this one for me. All right. So guys, let's run. We have about just 15 minutes. So let's do this very, very fast. The next one, the next one The next one is setting constraints. And we've talked about this over and over again. So use constraints to shape the output boundary, ensuring it fits your length, your scope, and content requirements. So decide exactly what you want. Okay, decide exactly what you want. Decide exactly what you want. If you want, You want to say under 200 words, you want to say generate 3 paragraph summary. That's it. Put a constraint as to I don't want this. These are the things I want. Some persons go as far as saying, don't use this type of words, don't use this type of things, don't use it. They are very specific. All right. So that's what we mean by setting constraints. So sometimes you need to be able to control what the AI includes or excludes. You have to be able to control it. Right? You just have to control it. You have to control even how long you want the response to be. It gives you a final control over the output. So you're able to say, this is how I want this guy to be. Most times you have overly long thing because you did not put any constraints to your prompt. And finally, number 6 is the power of iteration. The power of iteration. The power of iteration. The power of iteration. Now, let me say this, and that's what the power of iteration is all about. Iteration is simply saying, let's follow the steps and do it again. He's saying, let's repeat the process again, but this time around, let's maybe add something more or remove something. And if you're checking my slide, you see that I stated it there that don't expect perfection on the first try. And I know that most of you will not be expecting to hear this, but it's true. That what makes you a good prompt engineer is not because you just got the result, you got the results from the first prompt. No. I've told you that the goal is to get a clear, quality, and relevant output. A quality, clear, and relevant QCR. That's the goal. The goal is not to flex model that just write the prompt once. Everybody can write prompt first. And everybody can still get a result from any prompt. So we are saying that iteration does not mean that you are dull. Iteration does not mean that, you're not a prompt engineer. You must embrace iteration as a core part of the prompting process. Iteration comes in because you've analyzed the output critically. You've looked at the output and it's okay, everything is good, but this part, we don't want it. Oh, everything is good, but I think we should let go of this part. Everything is, you look at it critically and you refine your input systematically. That is why you're doing iteration. So the fact that I wrote the prompt the first time and then I'm going back to say, okay, remove this, does not mean that you're dull, does not mean that you're not a prompt engineer or that, you've not learned prompting. So it's not you that will now ratio that say, after I spent 30 days to learn prompt engineering and AI technology and this one. No, that's not it. That's not the goal. The goal is that you're going back to check, what if we do it like this? What is going to be the outcome? So it's like you're mixing something. You're putting water gradually, you're mixing. It's okay until I get this particular thing. That's why it's called the power of iteration. All right. So we have what is known as the iterative loop. Someone should write it down for us. The iterative loop. The iterative loop. So there are about 5 of them. Very simple. Number one, prompt. Number one, prompt. Just write them down and then I will explain them very quickly. Number one, prompt. Number 2, analyze output. Is a loop. So because it's a loop means that once we start and get to the end, we start again. So we prompt. Number 2, analyze output. Number 3, identify flaws. Number 4, refine prompts. And number 5, repeat. Number 1, prompt. Number 2, analyze output. Number 3, identify flaws. Number 4, refine prompts. Number 5, repeat. We will use the acronym PAIRR to remember them. PAIRR to remember it. Someone should type that down. PAIRR to remember them. So first P is prompt. A is analyze the output. So we're saying that you should prompt. Number 2, you should analyze the output, which is what I've been mentioning earlier on. Analyze the output. Identify the flaws. Pinpoint why the output isn't right. Did you violate a particular principle? You need to check that. Was your instruction clear? Is there a context that was missing? You need to check that. Then you refine the prompt. You adjust your prompt to address those issues you identified. You can become more specific. You can provide more context. You can become more clearer. You can add more constraints. You can clarify the instruction. That's why we say refine the prompt. And then you repeat it until you get what you're looking out for. And there's something I'm going to show to us as we proceed. After we must have done this, there are a couple of stuff you can now do so that you can now begin to see the kind of prompt you should have used initially. And that will make you even a better prompt engineer because you're able to check out a thing or two. Is that right? You can begin to check out a thing or two. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Please pay attention for her today. So today, we did a couple of stuff today. Amazing stuff we did today. And you're not doing 5, so you're doing 7 things you learned from today's class. And please, by tomorrow, your quiz will be dropping. Please, your quiz will be dropping. That quiz, I'm giving us a specific time so that you know the quiz will drop by 6:40 tomorrow. So that is just about 20 minutes before our class starts. So your quiz will cover everything we've done and you will see your score there. Please screenshot it. Share Viral is saying that the first three persons that will score 100%, like if it's 50/50, whatever, the first 3 persons, they are going to give you a hard copy of a book. The book is called The Prompt Engineering Playbook. It's written by Harvard Tech Hub, a very powerful book that most of the hubs now and individuals are using for prompt engineering training. So they're going to be getting it for the first 3 persons to score 100%. So please, but everyone compulsorily, once you submit, you will see your score. Screenshot it because when the training starts tomorrow, I'm going to tell you what to do. We're going to be storming social media the next day because I told you this training is going to be a long ride and you're not going to learn and hide. You're going to show yourself and position properly. If people who don't know anything are busy on social media, making noise, even making money, you that is going to be grounded, you're not going to hide. That's why by tomorrow, if you're not following Harvard Tech Hub, please go and follow because we're going to be sharing what you're doing on our own page. Okay? On our own page. And that's how serious. Okay? So please, I said the quiz tomorrow will drop at 6 6:40. 6:40. So that by 7 o'clock, they will deactivate it. So once you do screenshot, so set alarm. I did not say 6:40 in the morning, 6:40 in the evening. Set an alarm so that anywhere you are, it will just beep you. You just go straight, tap the link, answer your question sharp, sharp, and go back to what you're doing. No excuses. But for this night, you're going to get the link to go and type in what you've done. Like I said yesterday, I was impressed with the report I got this morning. Massive. You guys did good. Most of you, your rating on what you type in is amazing. So today, you type in 7 things. Tomorrow's class will be more interesting because you're going to type in what you learned from each slide, not just 7 things now. What you learned from each slide. So gradually, we're going to be improving your logical strength and your intellectual capacity because, like I said, you guys have shown you're intelligent and we'll have to amplify it. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Let me just take these few questions here. So I want to ask before we end, please, do you think clarity is one of the biggest problems? Or there are a whole lot of problems, Festa, but clarity is one. And clarity comes from most times you have it in your head, but number one, some persons are just too lazy to put it all together because they just believe that AI will just give an answer and they settle for poor results. Just because it's plenty doesn't mean it's accurate. Just because ChatGPT just poured it out to you and we just start smiling and blushing as the result is coming out. But you could have gotten something better. So clarity is one of the biggest problems. You have to be very clear. Once you understand that AI is not a mind reader, once you understand that, hey, LLMs are not mind readers, that I need to be very clear that these things are just loyal, very, very loyal, and they could be extremely literal assistants. Then we can get result. Someone says, "Sir, please drop the link to our page so we can follow automatically." Okay. The link to have us page, we'll drop that in the group. Don't worry. We'll drop it because, like I said, you people have just been following what's it called? Invoicer, you've been following ShareVira, and you've not even asked, oh, how can don't worry. I know what to do. Thank you. Destiny just dropped in the chat box the core principles of effective prompting. Thank you so much, Destiny. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. So, guys, you can just copy that and okay. So, DS Fred, from your question, it's very simple. Effective prompting. Now that you're doing, you will know where to the constraints you can put so that you don't get long output that you don't need. You can that I told us yesterday that as we proceed, you begin to see the answer to some of the questions you have, right? You can now say, okay, don't give me this, stop here, don't do this one. It will reduce too many results, thereby ensuring that you don't hit your contest window too early. All right. Emma said, when the quiz drops tomorrow, 6:40 p.m., are we to submit before the class begins? Yes, now that's why I say we'll deactivate by 7 p.m. Okay. Peace said, will materials be given to us for this class? Peace, I don't know the material you need again, Sha, but you can always go on YouTube and rewatch it. The examples are there. If there's anything I will need to give to you guys as we proceed, you don't need to be the one to remind me. I'll definitely do that, I promise. Well, Lincoln, for people, you're asking for those who actually they have clear idea of what they want to achieve, but doesn't yet know how to express effectively writing. If such a person decides to keep researching, learning, and refining their understanding until they can communicate the idea properly, would you consider? Yes, it will be considered a good approach. But another approach is we're in the technological age, so there are too many things that we cannot take for granted out there. you can actually find ways to, most LLMs, you can record. So record where necessary. Use voice note and give it your prompt. Okay, use voice note and give it your prompt. Okay, and just like that. But that approach of learning, researching, you cannot be underestimated. But we could also explore things that are available. Prince Obong says, I joined the class today, please. How can I get yesterday's class? Just go on YouTube, Prince. Just check the WhatsApp group. You see the YouTube link. Go and rewatch yesterday and today's one. Hope, you did not write the 5 things you learned yesterday. It will affect your score now. Don't worry. Maybe you will know what to do to give us some grace. All right, guys. The propeller is about the playbook. Propeller, we'll talk about that later. We don't want this training to be about our book or anything. That's not the intention. All right. But like I said, share viral, go and follow share viral. They can decide to do more. They can decide to get more 10 persons. The book they can decide. So go and follow share viral. Go and follow share viral. Please, I want to believe that later on in the class in YouTube will not be deleted. Oladapo, go and rewatch the YouTube and not be bothered if it will be deleted later on in the class. It's our content. After the training, we might delete them. So go and watch it now and get the knowledge. Don't do those things. Don't do that thing that most of you used to do. You go and save video, you watch later. Since 2021, you've not watched it. Go and learn it now. That's why we have these 30 days. Just sacrifice these 30 days and let's learn this stuff. After these 30 days, we go and play. So don't don't ask me to delete. You sure it will be deleted. So go and do it now. Yeah, Nehemiah said we need the grades for yesterday. Please, for those of us joining the class today, will our score be affected? Yes, now you did not join yesterday. Uh, there is a consequence for everything now. Grace, Grace, yes, now. All right, guys, we need to go. I don't want us to stay beyond 9:30. Still early days in the training. We still have a lot to do. So I wish us all the very best. See you all. Please okay, so please, sorry. Those of you that say you want to join the Share Viral team, those of you that say you want to volunteer to join the Share Viral team, they just sent the WhatsApp link. So please, I'm dropping in the chat box now. Go and join now. I'm dropping the WhatsApp link over and over again. So tap on it now. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. It's been awesome doing this with you. I will see us all on the other side of this training. So go get ready. We'll drop the link for you to drop the things you've learned today. Okay, please don't miss it. Oh, I know most of you sleep up before it drops, but I wish us all the best. Please, how do you mark attendance? You mark attendance by filling that link that we say we're going to drop, where you're going to mark out 7 things you learned in today's class. That's how we take our attendance. And you're scored daily on your attendance. All right? Yeah, thank you. So please, I'm dropping the link once again for those that said they want to join the Share Viral team. Let me Peter Godwin said, are we still admitting new members? No, we're not. The registration has closed. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Do have